What an amazing coincidence. Get this, folks. 1 week exactly, on November 1st, exactly 1 week before the midterm elections, YouTube demonetized the DUmmie FUnnies channel again. Yes, this happened before during the 2020 election. That's why this is just like deja vu all over again. What happened was and they gave the same reason. They gave the same reason. Reused content, which is ridiculous. Is ridiculous now as it was in 2020, and I'll tell you why. Because if YouTube took down every channel consisting primarily or entirely of video clips, they would have to take down thousands upon thousands of channels that are on their site now that are monetized. See, the big crime here is it was a conservative political oriented channel that was demonetized. It was using what they call reused content. The sin here wasn't the reused content, and by the way, not reused, as I'm going to show you how ridiculous that is, but the sin was conservative. And this is just another example of using, just like in 2020 when they attempted to fortify that election. Shortly before the 2020 election, my channel was demonetized. Same thing again. They're trying to fortify the 2022 election. And I'm not alone, by the way. Steven Crowder, the Louder with Crowder, a much huger channel, they've been taken down until the middle of November, safely past the election. So anyway, and I'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, here's the deal. Reused material. Really? Because a lot of times, I mean, for example, during the trucker strikes last protests in Canada last winter, there was cases where I'd have to look at about 6-7 hours worth of video just to get a few minutes, edit it down. I mean, there's times when I start editing at like 8 in the morning and I'm not done till like like 4 in the afternoon, you know. So it's not like copy and paste. No, that doesn't happen, my friends. You never see, like, in other words, I'm going to give you a real good example of constructive use of what I do with the clips. A few weeks ago in the Arizona, in the election there, during a debate for Secretary of State, it was an hour-long debate. I only used a few minutes of it. But the few minutes I used highlighted one thing. It was absolutely amazing. So Fincham had not just his Democrat opponent. That wasn't the only person he was debating with. He was actually debating for a long time with the two moderators. They're moderators, and yet they're debating. I was the first person to find this. A lot of websites were talking about it afterwards, but I featured the two moderators. One in particular was really going at it against Fincham, you know, like, you're an election denier. Hey, can you explain that? Listen, when you're debating in a debate, you're supposed to be debating your opponent, not the two moderators. So it was 3 against 1. In fact, it was funny because the Democrat candidate, he was basically sitting back, you know, at points of the debate. He was just basically sitting back, he's probably thinking, hey, these two moderators are doing a better job of debating with Fincham than I am. So I featured that. I'm sure some of you remember that video. And that turned up. Now, as I said, nobody noticed that or featured that before I did. And other websites picked up on that. And the positive outcome of that is that I noticed right after that video, and I'm sure that the two moderators became aware of my video. It just made them look completely ridiculous, over-the-top biased, is that in the future debates after that, they pretty much laid off of trying to debate the Republican candidate, all because they probably were thinking, oh my God, we're going to be featured on DUmmie FUnnies again, you know. But this is what YouTube considers reused material selectively. Now, as I said, I'm not the only one. They're right now. They're desperately trying to fortify, just like in 2020, the 2022 election. YouTube is, and the biggest fish, the biggest conservative channel, that it was actually approaching 100 million views per month. Now, can you imagine? That's something. 100 million views per month would be only a dream for CNBC or MSNBC for any of their shows. Crowder was approaching that, and they hit him with his second community guidelines strike within 90 days, which effectively keeps him off. And this happened a few days ago, just before my demonetization. Anyway, so that he's off of YouTube until the middle of November. Good news, Rumble does not practice political censorship. So guess what? You can watch Louder with Crowder. You can watch on, and I'll be joining him with the election on Rumble. Rumble it's not run by a bunch of neurotic Silicon multimillionaires that are obsessing about the election. You know what? Quit worrying about trying to affect the election results, YouTube, and just go about what normal business should be like. You should look to Rumble for what should be done. And by the way, you're going to be, after the winter comes, after this election, you might have to do it unwillingly, but you still have to do it, which is good news. So anyway, YouTube gave me the opportunity to file a video appeal with them, which, in case you haven't figured it out or don't know about it, does absolutely no good. You could, first of all, they don't even tell you like which videos are in violation. They don't tell. I don't care how many times you ask them, they're not going to tell you. Like you point out the video that are in violation. And by the way, all these videos have already been monetized, so they've been approved by YouTube. Like, yeah, go ahead, earn money. And then all of a sudden, retroactively, oh no, those videos are no good anymore. Yeah, right, very convenient. But anyway, appeals do no good. You can appeal. You can. First of all, you don't know what you're appealing about. You don't know what they don't give you any specificity as to the exact video violations or which videos are in violation. So I used to play that game. I'll tell you in a moment what happened 2 years ago. But what I did is, I did a video appeal, except my appeal wasn't me appealing like, please, YouTube, please remonetize DUmmie FUnnies, please. No. It doesn't do any good. Who cares? No, my appeal was talking about them appealing after the election, starting this winter, starting in January. They're going to have to appeal to Congress, like, please, you stop investigating us, please. No, not going to happen. Sorry. We already have, just this last week or so, we've had documents come out about collusion between big tech companies and DHS, sort of like Facebook, Twitter. I'm sure documents are going to come out about Google, and of course their YouTube, which is part of Google. In fact, speaking of Google, we found out that Google has been suppressing search results. What they do now, they'll say, "Oh no, you get search results when you type in, when you find information about Republican congressmen." So what they do, they're very disingenuous. So, yeah, you get search results. Yeah, you gotta. They bury good news, any good news about Republican candidates. They just bury it, but it's still there, guys. It's there. Yeah, you got to keep searching page after page. So that's all going to come out. We're going to have beautiful hearings coming up. And just to give you a preview of the attitude of the new Congress and Senate, take a look at what this future senator has to say. Take a look.
I happen to think the biggest threat to American democracy today is big technology companies in bed with the communist Chinese who are censoring information about American politics.
Okay, so I got to tell you a funny story here. This was yesterday when I found out that YouTube demonetized my Dummy Funnies channel. 1 week before the election, like I say, this happened in 2020. They demonetized my channel shortly before the election, and what happened is now, don't panic for you, my friends. This is pretty standard. There's nothing wrong. They didn't. I was in the hospital. It was scheduled all the way from back in August for a pretty routine biopsy on my lymph nodule. No, they haven't found any cancer or anything like that. I had a routine blood test done. I mean, a blood test done. Actually, I think 2 blood tests done, and no sign of cancer whatsoever. However, 3 of the nodules were a little bit big, so just to be sure, they did a biopsy on 3 of my nodules. Now, so guess what? I thought it was just going to be one pin to do it on each nodule. No, actually, it was 3 pins per 3-pin probes per nodule for a total of 9, but actually 10 because one of them, I don't know, for some reason they had to do it again. So 4 times. So 4 plus 3 plus 3. So I'm getting ready to, even though I thought that it would just take like 10 minutes for one, still not a great, prospect. So as I'm getting ready to go in, I'm checking on my cell phone and go, what? YouTube just demonetized my channel? I was like ticked off. I'll be honest, I was ticked off. Like 1 week before the election. So I go on a table and, they're doing their probes. And by the way, like I said, it took instead of 10 minutes, like I thought, it took maybe about an hour, maybe even a little over an hour. But all that time, they're doing the probes, like, and they squirted liquid to numb, special liquid to numb the pain. But you still feel the pain. It wasn't, sometimes it was a little more painful than others. It wasn't pleasant, but it wasn't horrible. But guess what? I almost didn't notice any of it because my mind was on, as they're doing this, right? And the nurses are thinking, the doctor's thinking, oh, the poor guy, no, the thing is, my mind wasn't even in that operating table. It was on YouTube. And so at first I was ticked off at the first half hour of the thing. And then I started seeing yellow. I seen a lemon. In my mind. I've got a very vivid imagination. It almost like hallucination without taking drugs. So then I see a lemon, and then I'm thinking lemonade, and voila! I'm turning this demonetization from a lemon, which upset me initially. By the end of the hour, I was like basically laughing. I won't get into this, but prospect of what's going to be happening in the near future. But so basically, I'm going to take this lemon and turn it into lemonade. In fact, one of the nurses said, "Oh, you feeling all right? You're moving around." And I'm going, "Oh, I'm sorry." So, "Oh yeah, I understand the pain. I'm thinking, no, it's not the pain. It's the laughing. Pain, I don't even notice. And so anyway, that's what happened. It was just so weird that I find out about this demonetization just as I go in on the operating table and they're checking. And by the way, everybody out there, get yourselves routine checkups. I'm going to go into more detail on a PSA in the near future about this. Anyway, I know it does absolutely no good to appeal. Please, YouTube. It doesn't do any good. I don't know if even a human being even sees these appeals. I have a feeling they go through a robot. They didn't give a crap. They don't care. They don't tell you. They give you no information. Now, interestingly, I did make them pay attention to when I got, just like Crowder got a guideline strike. Yeah, I got one last January. So here's the thing, this almost never happens. So, of course, now here, it was about a video in which I showed people complaining about remdesivir. You know, do a little research into that. It's a treatment and not a great one. Let's put it that way. But they hit me with a community guideline strike, and for supposedly vaccine misinformation. Well, hey, hello, YouTube. This is what basically I was telling them in both of my appeals. Remdesivir is not a vaccine, so it's not vaccine misinformation. Not only that, who recommended? The World Health Organization recommended against the use of remdesivir. But you know what? I appealed twice, and both times rejected. I'm probably a machine. And yet they finally reversed course. How did that happen? And without me even appealing. What happened is I got in touch. I made this known, and they knew, YouTube knew it too, that I was in touch with various members of the Senate and Congress, the House of Representatives. So after that, and I was in touch with Team YouTube about this issue. Team YouTube, when I explained it again, and they see that they were aware that I was in touch with these people. They were like, remember Godfather 2, that landlord, first time he was like real arrogant with Don Corleone, but then later, because when Don Corleone said, hey, ask around, after that, he was like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't understand. That same way, YouTube was the same way. They reversed it. They almost, it was like almost they were like almost apologetic about it, or at least Team YouTube was. Well, oh, why didn't you show up? Whoa, they reversed it. I didn't even appeal it, all because I was in contact with members of House and Senate, and I've been in touch with them since early this year. And I'm not going to get into too much detail, lemonade, but all I'm going to say is the reckoning is coming. Winter's coming, and the reckoning is coming for not Team YouTube. Team YouTube's actually pretty good guys. They're one of the few humans or semi-humans. They might be some sort of combination of what do you call those, Borgs or something. Anyway, so the reckoning is coming this winter. Count on it, YouTube. You can demonetize all the channels you want. You can use bogus community guideline strike against huge. I mean, that, like I said, that's the biggest conservative channel. Louder with Crowder. You can do that. It's all coming back to you. Preserve your papers, and you can get up in front of Congress, and you can be disingenuous, you can be evasive or even lie, but it's going to do you no good, because guess what? They're also going to call on the software engineers, and the software engineers in general, they're not really into those little games that the top executives play, and plus they know they'd be facing perjury charges. So, and you know what? For you software engineers at YouTube and also the other big tech companies, just one piece of advice. Veritas tips at protonmail.com.
I happen to think the biggest threat to American democracy today is big technology companies in bed with the communist Chinese who are censoring information about American